Jessica Espinoza lives in Jackson Heights, Queens. She is a graduate of Hunter College and Long Island University. Currently, she teaches science at Middle School 217 in Jamaica, Queens. Jessica is co-founder of the Jasper Collective and has read for the Unpublished Reading Series. Her narratives include themes of immigration, feminism, gender, sexuality, and education. She likes whiskey and reading aloud to her students. Not at the same time, of course. Jessica Espinoza.
Hi. Okay. I remember watching cockroaches fuck when I was little. I used to ask my mom why they stuck together like that. She sucked her teeth and said, "He's getting her pregnant, poor thing. But we don't need no pregnant roaches." Then she stomped on those lusty motherfuckers with such hatred until the crunching of their ruptured exoskeleton turned to silence. I was never sold on my mom's pregnancy theory. Even as a kid, I knew cockroaches were some self-centered assholes. Hell, they even ate each other's shriveled up carcasses if there was no food around. I saw them do that, no lie. So there was no way roaches were having sex simply to procreate. I like getting fucked. A little pounding from the front side, back side. Damn, I like it all sides. I like when my men talk nasty to me. They make me want to talk nasty to them. And I ain't got no thoughts about babies when I do that. I have sex because I like it. That's it. And I've always wondered, why do females have to explain that? My best friend Rosa used to think the same thing, or at least she made it seem like she did. Now, we don't see each other as much. Actually, we don't see each other at all, even though she wants me to visit. Rosa and I went to the same elementary, middle, and high school. There was always one thing on her mind and my mind in those early days: boys. But we didn't get it twisted. What we did with boys was just for a good time and a good story. Stories we told each other on the train. We'd crack up about their baby shrimp penises and squished up faces of pain when they convulsed and came. You see, Rosa and I were partners. I didn't need any boys to fill up some bullshit romance fantasy. I had Rosa, and our friendship was not a fantasy. It was as real as it gets. When Rosa's uncle started touching her, Rosa tried to pull that bullshit silent treatment. She avoided me at school and then on the bus back to Flushing. But I know my girl. I got her a chicken gordita at Taco Bell, rubbed her elbow, and girlfriend started crowing. She cried at the Taco Bell, on the ride home to the train, in front of the drunken guy on 99th and Roosevelt, and back at my house. Once she got all the crying out, I sold my dad's bottle of Chambord and we got drunk in the room. At 2:30 a.m., we opened up a can of Chef Boyardee spaghetti and meatballs and ate it straight out of the can. Next morning, my mom slapped the drunk right out of both of us, made us pray, and sent us to school. Rosa never spoke about the incident with her uncle again, but I made sure that she would tell me whenever he came over so I could be there to stare his pervy ass down. After we graduated high school, Rosa and I went to John Jay. She wanted to get a paralegal certificate, and I wanted to major in translation and interpretation. We wanted to make bank. All we talked about was how we would move in together. It was at that time that our friends started talking about having babies. One time, we were at my homegirl Clarissa's house, and she was cackling on about how she wanted a baby to take care of. My girl Rosa said, "Clary, you can't even wash your own sweaty pussy properly. How are you gonna take care of a baby?" We laughed so hard at Clary because she was always walking around with holes in her crotch as if her pussy was spewing acid. And if that wasn't bad enough, girlfriend used Wonder Bread to wipe food stains from the side of her mouth. Now, we weren't judging per se, but in our experience, you have to be hella aware of that shit as a mom. How the hell could Clary do that? Rosa and I moved into a nice place near my parents' house. We both managed to get good jobs with security and shit. We were queens. We just were. So it was just a matter of time before one of those dusty fools from the neighborhood came came rubbing up on our door wanting to wife us up. And Rosa, well, she fell for it with one of those fuckboys. She fell hard. But then again, Rosa always had boba tendencies. She grew up watching way too much Maria la del Barrio, thinking women had to suffer if they wanted real love. Rosa turned down plenty of good men because they called or texted too much. She preferred the savagery of the games. You know, send a text to some dude you're sweet on, get a one-word reply an hour later, then curse the motherfucker out in a text message the length of an essay. Just to sleep with him the next day when he buys you pupusas in an horchata. That was Rosa. Now, Rosa lives with a fuckboy in an apartment on Roosevelt 68th, which I'm pretty sure she pays for. It's all right, though. She can afford it. Before fuckboy, Rosa and I spent every waking second together. Afterwards, we were down to weekends only. We still had great times, though. Like when I got my first interpreter job and we went to the strip joint, determined to pop bottles like men would to celebrate. We walked in the strip club flashing money and howling like wolves. Funny thing is, moment the strippers came to our table, untied their top and jiggled their titties in our face, we got mad stiff and ran out of the place. I dropped $200 that night for 20 minutes of nada. That was then, but now, Rosa and I have not seen each other at all. See, the thing is, having a man always breaks up a female friendship, even just a little. But it's a whole other thing to lose your girl to a baby. They don't come back from that. Rosa got knocked up, and parents, well, they're just a different breed of people. I sure as hell never want to be one. And I didn't want to see Rosa with green spit stains and dirty diapers, and dirty diapers piling up at her ankles. She was supposed to be like me. So when she told me she was pregnant, I pulled back. I mean, I responded to her texts, but I stopped calling her. I stopped answering her calls. I didn't want to hear the new Rosa. When she had the baby, I didn't go to the hospital. I couldn't go to the hospital. I missed Rosa so much, but I missed my Rosa, not this baby's Rosa. That night I had to call Rosa, even though it was 2:30 a.m. and she was probably asleep. I called and the phone rang and rang and rang. She didn't answer. I called again, but no answer. I got a text. Jaden's sleeping, can't talk, girl. I'll call you tomorrow. But something in me didn't let it go, so I called again. Each time the phone went to voicemail, I felt a punch in my gut. I couldn't stop calling. I left a voicemail because I couldn't hold the words in anymore. Rosa, I never told you this, but I really hate that you got pregnant and had a baby. I want things to be the way they were so bad. I'm sorry I've been ignoring you, but I thought you would forget about me. I went to your apartment. I heard the baby crying. I couldn't get past that cry. It was too real, girl. It made me think of the things that will never be the same again. You're in one place, I'm in another. I realized I fucked up. I thought you would just be talking about your baby and Babies R Us and strollers and having another baby. I thought you would be a different person, but you're still you, Rosa. You're still there for me, even though I've been a bitch. It was me that changed. I'm sorry. I'm gonna drop it now. I'll call you tomorrow. But I couldn't drop it, so I called again. My brain betraying me. No answer. There was no one. There was no one I wanted to be with at that moment, crying on the street but Rosa. And there is no one I want to be with now besides Rosa. Certainly not this dude lying next to me that I'm about to fuck. I'll be nice when I ask him to leave, and then I'll order myself a cheeseburger from the diner, have a glass of wine, and think about Rosa.